Hello. It's kind of late. I don't know if anybody will come in here. Bugatti, what's up? Sean Price on his double 34. You're probably bored to death. So bored that you're polishing your wheels. Pill Rider. What? Don't get your kitchen mitten. Gear Grabber, what's up? Battleboard. Travis Christians. Get that money. Yeah, I'm ready. Thank you, Troy. Nailed it. Keith James, Anthony. Daniel got free food from Denny's. Why? Is it your birthday? Or did you do a dash, dine and dash?
It had a hair in it, so they just gave it.
Oh, okay. Give you a little secret, Daniel. A free meal at Denny's is really not that big of a deal. It's kind of a curse, really. Is it Daniel's birthday? Ace, my ankle is better. Went and saw the doctor Friday, and he said, that was yesterday, and he said that everything was healing good. I was a step ahead of the game, is what he said. So, I could pretty much get around without the brace even. So, Victor Newton, what's up? And I've got a low booked for Monday morning. Harold Huffman, what's up? Harold, after this video, comment on one of my other newest videos so I can give you a wrench. Ghost Rider, what's up? So, no, the manager had me wait a while before he could take my order and he didn't charge me anything. Well, that's cool. Wiggle Wagon Pat, what's up? Yeah, vacation is over. I got a single chip you can have, Daniel. So, if you guys didn't know, for those of you new to my channel, about a month ago, I sprained / partially fractured my ankle. I was down for a little bit, but now we're healed up enough to get to work. So, and it's been a good day. Been a good weekend so far. So, I'm anxious to get back in the truck. Hopefully, I remember how to drive. Did your eyes go to crap when you hit 40? At 40, my body went to crap, started to go see the docs. Yeah, about age 35 is when my eyes started to go, you know what? You might need glasses soon. So, Harold, I'll be on my way to Kentucky. So, what's funny is, for those of you who caught Jeff's last live feed, he was talking about the drivers that went through Kentucky and they had to pay. I have not gone through Kentucky since I've been with Trucking. Actually, it's been a while since I've been through Kentucky anyways. No, I take it back. No, I took the southern route, so Big Rich, what's up? Now, the only bad thing about the load I got is it picks up about 80 miles from here, so a little bit of deadhead, more than I like, but I wasn't liking the stuff coming out of Springfield, and I know the broker, this is a load that wasn't even on the board, or any of the boards. Don't go to the Walmart DC in London, Kentucky 9-hour unload. Jess Clark. I don't think I've ever been there. Yeah, I haven't been there. Now, I will say that there are some customers a couple of grocery people in Houston that take about 8 or 9 hours to unload. I believe one of the pharmaceutical companies that have distribution centers, they can take about an 8-hour unload. APU is only a belt and a burn-up fuse block, $535. Yep. No, Troy. First letter C, last letter is S. Stu Manchu is late. What's up, Gus? How's it going? Harold brings up a good point. Thermo Kings are expensive to work on. Their labor rates are ridiculously high. You'll be in Kentucky Monday, Gear Grammar? I won't be there till Tuesday. Look at Travis taking shots at Mr. GG's truck. Hey Sean, where are you at? I'm gonna bring my truck so you can polish it too, since you got some free time. It needs to be washed. Jess Clark knows what's going on. 89 in parts, rest was labor, right? See, there you go. It's all good, Stu. It's all good. I was just kidding around when I was... What was that? Pale Rider's live feed? Or no, that was Jeff's live feed. But I know you're just kidding around. Rutgers Glen. Where's that? Oh, is that in Pennsylvania? Crazy weather we're having. Yesterday was 80. Today it was like 40 with a wind chill of 20. And then I think tomorrow it might snow. So, gotta love it. Gotta love it. Although I got a lot of friends that were in 80-degree weather yesterday, and now they're in blizzard conditions today. I don't know what the deal is. Travis getting a little over 7. Didn't do anything to it. Might just be a better blend of fuel. The winter blend is almost all but gone. So... We had snow today in Kansas. Last 2 days was in the 80s. Yep. Yeah, Michael P. We're back to work. We're back to work. Well, Monday. So. Virginia. Virginia. So went for about 2 months at 504. I don't know if any of you guys that are still using Truckin' Pro, this is a question to you guys. Do you find that your fuel mileage is way lower than what you think you're getting off the dash? Because when I enter all the numbers in Truckin' Pro, it seemed like I'm only getting like barely 7. But like, unless I go a full week with the light load, I'm only, I'll get 8. 9.2 is the highest I'll get with the load. But then I'll enter the numbers and I'll do a week per week kind of deal, and I'll show set 8 or whatever. But when I do all the numbers for like the last 6 months, it's like barely 7. Hitless, I thought I was waking up to drama. No drama here, my friend. No drama here. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not even going to start with that. Let's just say that I'm not going to give you numbers of companies that I have no really interest in. So, have Jeff run your IF to report, see what your miles per gallon is. That's a good idea. My fuel mileage has been really good this month. It's all of them, Jess Clark. It's all of them. Actually, I was joking around in Jeff's live feed. My idle's probably like, if you were to look at my idle time, it'd be like 100% because I've started in the month that I've been off. I started the truck 3 times, the idle, and there was one time where I had to turn around. Actually, put me in the drive line. So, Big Rich says I'm going to try keeping it from 65 from now on. Guys, Gear Grabber says that's because you drive 80 miles per hour, Rich. Fuel speed is a big thing. I think Jeff mentioned that there's a reason. No, maybe it was my friend James. There's a reason why all these big fleets govern their trucks at 63. And that is the magic number. In my Peterbilt, I was constantly about 61, 62. And for as old as the truck that was, it got excellent fuel mileage. There were times when I've been in a hurry and I'm doing 70 in the 70 mile per hour states here lately. And I noticed my fuel mileage go down. But try this for a second. So next time you get in a construction zone and it's 55 and a 70, okay? Set your cruise to 54.5 or 55 miles per hour and watch how your fuel mileage will change. Speed is a big part. Now, it depends on the terrain. If you're going through a lot of mountains, you want to gun it at times to get up the hill. The longer you can coast, the better fuel mileage you get. If you're doing 45,000 pounds to, like, say, Pennsylvania or, Utah in the mountains there, then it's hard to get above 8. But if you're on flat ground, let's say I-70 in Indiana, put that sucker on 62 and just enjoy the ride. And you're going to see a big jump in your fuel mileage. I get about 7.5 and 8.5 at 70 miles per hour, even on a heavy load on a Packer motor. That's good, Daniel. In a lot of the areas that you run, it's a lot of it's flat ground. I don't see you running through Pennsylvania. It's like go to Florida. Like take 75 south on Florida, man. I think my truck needs tweaking. I've done lighter loads and maintained 62. Still didn't get above 7. Yeah, there are different factors. Depends on how the truck's set up. With Rich's truck being an X Prime truck, that kind of surprises me. Now, Jess says I don't mind being governed, but it depends on how it's governed. I think governing trucks is really bad for fuel mileage. Case in point, when I was a company driver, the company I was at was governed at 65, right? But for those of us that got really good fuel mileage, we got bumped up to 68. And by having that little bit of extra to go up the hills and everything, it kind of helps with the fuel mileage. And I kind of proved to the company, of course they didn't care, I proved that I was getting better fuel mileage in my Peterbilt, which is ungoverned, and this truck's ungoverned, than most guys are getting with governed trucks. Because at the times that you need to do 70 to get down the hill, to get back up, you've got that. Whereas 65, you're at the mercy of the pedal, Yeah, see, so Big Rich, you know the fog line thing, every time I enter my numbers on fog line, they're a lot lower. I just read that there are 110 loads available for every flatbed out there. Flatbed freight is red hot. Little Viking Coach, you are correct. There's a lot, 'tis the season, man. Everybody's building their stuff. Everybody's starting their projects for spring. There's a lot of things that need to be built, and that's where flatbed comes in. That's some good mileage there, Troy. I've had it governed on 65 on the pedal, but 67 on the cruise. You know, I don't understand why companies govern trucks like that, because that encourages the driver to use the cruise at moments when he shouldn't be using the cruise. That's my opinion. Um, but you know, like I said, I'm not a multi-million-dollar carrier, so what do I know? Southside Trucker, what's up? I think that it should be the same if you're governed. You know. You know, what's funny is when I was at Schneider, there's company guys that come up to me, and one of the things that they would say was like, "Oh man, I might become an IC because I'm tired of driving a governed truck." You know, and so when I turn around and told them that I still drive 62, 63, they kind of look at me like, "But you're not governed." I'm like, "Yeah, you're paying for the fuel. You want to sit there and do 75 everywhere you go? You're going to burn it up in fuel." Do 1099 drivers need to get an LLC? Depends on where you go. The that's an area that I'm not really expert at. I got an LLC the day I got my truck, my first truck. Um, it helps keep everything separate, and I've been able to establish business credit by doing an LLC. But see, it's an LLC. You're still a sole proprietor LLC, you know. So that's about the extent of my knowledge of that. You know, so yeah. Less than 20K going from North Carolina to Arkansas, southern route, not 40 through the mountains. 1099 company driver? I have no idea. I've heard of that happening, like of company drivers getting 1099s, but I don't know. That's a good question, Gear Grabber. Check your air filter, Rich. LLC separates business from personal. Yeah, Hitless. Having an LLC just means you have a business. You know, if you're a 1099 but you're a company driver, then you don't have a business. You're not a contractor. So, but what do you guys think of my new intro, man? I got a lot of positive responses to that. So now I just need to make some like recorded videos. Texomatic, James Crowley did that for me. He did it like in an hour. I texted him on Facebook. He had it done in an hour. Harold's going to bed. I'll talk to you Monday there, Harold. You know why? Because we don't have that dumb Snyder can't talk on the phone rule. What health insurance do I use? My wife has the health insurance through her job. So tell you what, man, if you're a contractor making a truck payment and you're the breadwinner of the house and you're responsible for the health insurance, kudos to you if you're making that work. Why does coach like to compete on everything? I think if you're happy with what you're making, who cares? What's your opinion? Southside Trucker. Truck drivers, people in general, they want to say that their deal is better than the other. There are so many people that are in everybody else's business in a negative way. So that's why I really don't, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of wisdom, but Big Rich has a good philosophy. You know, he wants everybody to succeed. And I'm kind of the same way. I'm not going to sit there and tell people one company is better than the other. Everybody's situation is different, right, Gear Grammar? So and I said this in my last live feed, which I made private, but if RST is working for little guy, cool. If Traveloco's working for Will, cool. If Coach is doing well with his own authority, cool. I don't care. If they're succeeding, awesome. Because if they're succeeding, that means there's more positive energy in the trucker pool. Okay? And so what they do on their own channels is up to them. And like Big Rich says, as long as you're happy doing well, no one should care. Right. People are too concerned about what other people are doing. You know, if someone was to call me personally and say, Steve, what do you think of RST? I would be like, well, I don't know much about him. You know, call a person that works for RST and talk to them. If someone calls me and say, what do you think of Traveloco? I would say, well, all I know is hearsay from other drivers. I know drivers that did well, and I know drivers that didn't do well or didn't like the situation. So you'll have to talk to Traveloco drivers, you know, because you know why? Because I'm not a Traveloco driver. Just like Schneider. You got people that are really struggling at Schneider, and you got people that are doing really well at Schneider. And, you know, like Steve Berger's situation is different than, say, you know, my friend that just went over there. You know, there's my situation was different than most of the Schneider Finance guys. You know, in the end, I don't sit there with this whole my company's better than yours, because what works for me may not work for you. You know, just like, you know, that person that texted me that was all like, oh, let's hope you don't fail like you did at Landstar. Why would you say something like that? You know? You know, it's just like I said in the live feed. Some people watch my stuff and say, Steve, you're living the dream. And there are other people that are watching my stuff thinking, Steve, you're struggling, or you're suffering, or you're an idiot. You know, you're an idiot, you know. And again, what's the difference? I'm doing the same thing. It's just your perception of me is different. If you like me, cool. If you don't like me, then that's you. Why do we have to tell the whole world you don't like something? You know? People get so upset at everything. You know, look at the comment section of any video on YouTube. Oh, Gear Grabber, I'll tell you about that little story. You know, I'll call you sometime this week, and I'll tell you all about it. So, and Bugatti says, come on, this is a layback channel. I'm laid back, dude. I have no issues with any other YouTubers at all. None. You know, like Pale Rider, man, he stays in his lane, man. So if Coach wants to do videos on RST or Traveloco, that's his channel, man. He can do it. I don't care. I've talked to Coach personally. Seems like a nice guy. I have no issues with the dude. Same thing with Matt. Met him at GATS. Had no issues with the dude. He seems like a nice guy. Harold and Jeff hung out with him one night. And, you know, they got along. Will, I hung out with Will. I hung out with Ike. And, again, no issues. Cannell, you know, Cannell went out of his way to give me a hat, you know, in the parking lot. So, you know, it's like, you know. Jess Clark, I wouldn't listen to company cheerleaders. Not saying Coach just won, but you can tell who's drinking too much Kool-Aid. In the end, people can boast about their company all they want. It makes no... And I get what you're saying, Jess, but it you know, it doesn't matter to me. It's just digital noise. I've used that term before. If there's 5 YouTubers that are at war with each other over some silliness, that's them, man. And, you know, and they're getting reviews, man. I mean, they're getting views. I mean, when Matt did that one video and Will did that one video the other night, they had like 300 or 400 people in their live feed at 2 a.m. I can't do that. And if that's how they want to do YouTube, cool. They're probably making a lot more money than me on the monetization. They're getting more sponsors. But I do this just to do this, I just shake my hand at crap. I just don't understand why the drama over RC. Yeah, Travis, I don't know. Like I said, I've got no issues with RSD. I don't know why they're a target all of a sudden. I started YouTube at the height of the Travel Loco buzz, and I vowed to always try to be positive, says Rich. To hell with the drama, to hell with trying to drag others down. Right, there you go. Everybody should take Big Rich's example, man. Joy says, I would like to take the next step of trucking, but the time is not right yet. Steve, you're too humble. You have succeeded to a point a lot of guys wish they were wearing your shoes. Jeff picked the cream of the crop to help build a group of guys to help. Thank you, Nailed It. I appreciate that comment. See, that's what we should be doing. We should be building each other up, And if I brought negative energy to the YouTube world, if I brought negative energy to my channel, do you think Jeff would have went out of his way to help me when I was still at Landstar? Do you think Jeff would have went out of his way to help me get on the Schneider? He could have taken the referral bonus and just said, well, good luck. But he didn't do that. He took me under his wing, and he got me to a point where I'm at the next step now. Do you think that if I brought negative energy to YouTube, he would have brought me on to like trucking? No. Do you think that if I brought negative energy to YouTube, do you think I had all these people that were supportive and wanting to help me when I was down with my leg? No. And see, and so actions speak louder than words. So because I stay out of that drama, because I don't have wars with any other YouTubers, I just do my thing, and I don't have an ego about me. I just do what I need to do, help others when I can, and it's paid off tenfold. Okay? And a lot of people don't realize this. A lot of people that aren't doing well in their business, it's because of the way they just go on about life, the way they drag people down. I'm not saying the other YouTubers are doing that. I'm just saying that there's a lot of people that drag themselves down by dragging others down with them. And I have huge respect for all the other YouTubers because I've watched their vlogs. Every single one. Ike, Will, Matt, they've all got great vlogs. You got Shadow Wolf, you got everybody has their thing. Everybody has their flavor, Going on what Nailed It said, Jeff mentioned me coming over there twice. I'm the cream. See, Snore, you remind me of the guy that would get out of their truck and help back up versus the guy that makes videos to make fun. Right. I'll tell you a story. I was at the Pilot in Pacific, Missouri one time, and you guys know how rough of a place that is, right? In fact, last year a guy got shot, because the way it's set up. But anyways, there was a Swift driver that was backing up, and he got out like 15 times. Get out, look. He'd back up 5 feet, get out and look. 5 feet, back up. And this guy got on the CB radio and started making fun of him. And he was like, and I was surprised because more than one person stepped up to the bat and said, you know what? Instead of making fun of him, why don't you go out there and help him? Or, well, if he didn't get out and he hit your truck, you'd make fun of him for that. So, Swift can't, you can't win for losing. And there's so many people that are so judgmental. Oh, look at that truck. He just hit that pole. Well, that's my company's better than his. That's why he's an idiot. It doesn't do any good. Fumooch, welcome back. He mentioned me coming over one morning on the phone at 0600 High. I think it was still Hush Hush that Snorler was coming over back then. Gear Grabber says he's only subbed to 4 channels. Steve, you and James had something Jeff liked about you guys. Gear Grabber is a shoe-in as Mr. Wilson, the only driver who can't find a steakhouse. Tell you what, man, I can find a steakhouse like nobody's business. Shadow Wolf, what's up? Who's the other three Gear Grabber? Big Rich. Where is CPAP? CPAP's probably sleeping, man. That dude likes to go to bed. He's an early to bed, early to rise kind of guy. Gear Grabber said he subbed to me, Jeff, or no, Rich, Jeff, Snorlord, and James. Sean Price has a channel. Harold and Gear Grabber don't have channels in the like trucking world. I think someone made the joke that you have to have a YouTube channel to be on with like trucking. That's not the case at all. I can find them barbecue places fast for sure. Says Shadow Wolf. A bunch of dandruff all over my shirt. So, and you know, I've diminished my list of subs too because I got tired of it going off. You know, Pale Rider TV is an excellent sub, man. He just does what he does. Yeah, Gear Grabber's got enough channels or subs to go live. That's funny, Gear Grabber. Hey, you guys like my glass? It's a CB. It's got all these different CB terms. This is an old school glass. Check it out. It's got pictures of cab overs and hot rods. I think Gear Grabber's sub count went up after Matt's. What do you guys think? He made the big reveal of what he looks like. Jess Clark says, one of these days I would like to meet Jeff and pick his brain. Very informative. Jess, that's the key to success right there, dude, is surround yourself with people that want to see you succeed and can help. Because if they can't give you, you know, there's three kind of support. You got financial support, you got knowledge support, and then you've got emotional support. If they can't do one or all three of those things, then they're only going to hinder you. Everyone has to find their own way. You're going to make mistakes on your journey. Not every company plan will fit your plans all the time. When you change, it's time to change. There you go, Benjamin Duke. Jess Clark, I don't know why you watch me. You are the people you surround yourself. If you hang with losers, well, says Big Rich. Where did you get that drink? I got this from a thrift store, believe it or not. Look for the matching coffee mug. I like what Benjamin Duke said. Everyone has to find their own way. I'm going to read it again. You're going to make your own mistakes on your journey. Not every company plan will fit your plans all the time. When you change, it's time to change. Being successful in anything requires trial and error. We've talked about this before. I almost sound like a broken record. You have to fall to learn how to get up. You have to walk to learn how to run. That's it. That's all you can say, man. You struggle for a reason. In some cases, you can be that positive person in the loser crowd. Right. You know, that's easy to do in today's world, really. Little Viking coach watches me for the drone footage. The only way I get drone footage is I take the GoPro and throw it up in the air. Yeah, the beard is getting kind of long, isn't it? Man, I was at Walmart today. There's this dude that had like this mohawk, and his beard was like, like it's almost like someone just went. Kind of reminded me of a little Viking coach there. You know, with his horn. The new Han Solo movie is getting bad reviews. What do you think? Dude looks nothing like Harrison Ford. Trucker Jacks. I judging by the trailer, it's going to take a moment for the diehard Star Wars people to kind of get over the fact that the dude looks nothing like Harrison Ford. Um, kind of like Mad Max. The guy that was Mad Max in the fourth film. What's his name? Yeah, you kind of had to separate yourself from the fact that this is a different movie. I'm curious about what the new Han Solo's movie is going to be. But I'm not like jonesing to see it. I mean, I want to see it. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Star Wars fan, but I don't think the one-offs are as good as the storyline. You know, he would look different with two braids with beads in his beard. Sounds like work, man. It sounds like work. I'm gonna watch The Office in its entirety for the 2,345th time. Guys, I think I finished all of that 70s show. I didn't watch any Netflix while I was home. I usually save that for the road. Face paint rockstar stuff. No, I hate makeup. I hate makeup. It's funny. Apnea would play with these black metal bands, right? And and like from the outside looking in, you think these black metal bands have these rituals where they paint their face. It's like this big ritual, right? Reality is some guy in a mirror in a crappy bathroom backstage going, Just go to Walmart, small town, 11 o'clock. Yeah, we've got some doozies. Oh, speaking of doozies, man. So there's this TV show called Live PD. If you don't know about it, it's on A&E, I believe. It's a show that's like Cops, but it's live. They follow like 6 departments, and they kind of go back and forth between all of them. So, and if there is a dead moment, they go to previous footage that they didn't show before. And for the last several weeks, including tonight, which I'm recording it now, they're in Greene County, Missouri, which is Springfield area. And dude, I'll tell you what, man. They have a canine there. His name is Lore, Lor. That dog is a busy dog, man. You guys got to remember, Missouri's like the meth capital of the world, and you could definitely tell because like last night, every single car that they had on film that they pulled over had drugs and needles. Like this one SUV had like all these needles laying all over the seat. Like the guy wasn't even trying to hide them. Like some of them didn't even have the caps on it. You know. Yeah, I love the new Live PD, but yeah, I don't know how much longer they're going to be in Greene County, but yeah, I'm anxious to watch tonight's because last night was pretty cool. Um, and what's funny is last week they found this dude with an Uzi in his car here in Springfield, and these 2 girls are with him, and someone I know knew one of those gals. It's kind of funny because Springfield's like the 3rd largest city in Missouri, but I've lived here so long that I know a lot of people here. and it's still small enough to kind of know people. You know, it's still small enough that you can get around. Yeah, right, Gear Grabber. You seen that chase in Green County with the Tech 9. Yeah, and then there was a motorcycle chase 3 or 4 weeks ago that ended in a crash. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. You know, and what's funny is my kids are watching the show, right? And I'm like, look what drugs do, because every single person had something to hide. You could just tell by the way they pull them over, you know, that they're lying right off the bat. Like they got something to hide. Shadow Wolf, the leg is doing great. I'm go back to work Monday. Yep, Troy. It was an F-150. Big Riff says Indiana taking over as meth capital of the country. Tennessee is number 2. Friday and Saturday nights, crazy how busy the police are in those shows. Crazy in South Carolina. They check a motel every night and get them for drugs. Gear Grabber says, I have to admit, chases are funny. I used to love getting in high-speed chases. I imagine that's a pretty good adrenaline rush, Gear Grabber. Did you guys see a couple weeks ago, there was a 16-year-old or 15-year-old kid that stole a school bus? And, like, he was, like, all over the road. He didn't know how to drive it, and the back door was flapping, and he actually ended up ramming, you know, one of the cop vehicles. I love it. Yeah, the back door was open, man. And you know, and here's the crazy part. They said yesterday that it was a church school bus, you know, school bus owned by the church, and they didn't press charges. Yeah, I was waiting for him to flip it, Gear Grabber, because that's a high center vehicle. They did pull the guns out. They're expecting, you know, they were afraid that their kids might have been in the bus. You know, which is why they weren't aggressive with getting them down there at first, you know. But yeah, it was amazing, man. So, you know, it's, you know, and you know how people say that police like do racial profiling? That's not true at all. The quickest way to get pulled over by the police is your vehicle. If you have a light out, if you have a license plate that's expired, mismatched hubcaps, it looks like you can barely afford that car, that's the way you get pulled over. It has nothing to do with race, has all to do with the social economics. If you look like you're driving a car that doesn't look legal, guess what? They're going to pull you over. Are you going to put a satellite TV in your truck? Nope. Jess, I've got my tablet, which has a direct app for my satellite here at home. So basically, I don't need to. You know, I'm watching it on a little screen versus the TV. I'm not as fancy as Jeff is. I thought about it, but those dish things that like what Jeff has for his truck, those are like $400. So I don't see myself. I have a TV in my truck. Don't get me wrong. You know, if I'm parked in a big city overnight and I want to watch the news or the weather or whatever, I'll turn it on. But I think in the year and a half I've had my truck, well, yeah, a year and a few months, I think I've had that TV on like 5 times. Been seeing a lot of companies been putting them in lately. Jess Clark, I'd be worried about that. With, you know, if companies said, "Hey, we give you free satellite TV," right away I'm thinking, well, that's because you sit. So when you're sitting too much, that satellite TV is a big distraction. So the very first time I saw a satellite dish mounted on the outside of a truck, that's the first thing I said to myself, is that guy probably sits a lot. So Live PD's on now. A&E, I think it streams for a few hours. Yep. I got the Fire Stick from Amazon and run it through my phone Wi-Fi. That's a good idea, Clyde. My cousin, a white dude, gets pulled in all the time because he drives a car with big rims, loud stereo system, vivid colors. Yeah. Or no home time. Yeah, you're right, Jess. How does the fog line scanning thing work versus what you're using now? It's about time for me to upgrade accounting program. Heard James say you're all using something else. I'm one truck independent, no lease. Benjamin Duke, the new program that Jeff's pushing is called Trucking Office or Trucking Office Pro. I am the only one at Like Trucking that is not on that system yet. I'm still on Fogline. Now, here's what I do with Fogline on the scanning paperwork. I take a picture with my phone. I have an app called Tiny Scanner. Run it through the app like a scanner, and I email it to myself on the computer. I have a separate I have a separate email account is just for my receipts and paperwork. And then all I got to do is send it to, then I just download it and load it from the computer when I'm entering the info on the Fogline software. Now the new program that Jeff and all the other guys are using is something that you could do from your phone or tablet, and it makes the scanning and everything easier. So it just depends on your preference. You know, I'm sticking with Fogline for now, not because I don't like Trucking Office, but because I've got to catch up on some bills, and I don't want to start a new $30 a month bill yet. All right, Shadow Wolf, you take it easy. So I think the most important part is you develop a system and you stick with it. But the Trucking Office seems nice to me because you can do everything from your phone. I use Tiny with Carrier. I use Tiny with Carrier. I'm least to leaving is Trucking Office monthly or one time like Fogline. Trucking Office is a monthly fee. And I believe if you use code BRRN, Big Rig Radio Network, you know, the initials, 2018, you get a discount for life. I think it's coming out to be, I don't know, Gear Grabber can tell everybody what the price is. Yeah, and I'm just now getting to the point where I'm using my Fogline correctly and religiously. So that's why I'm not switched over yet, because I want to master one system before I get the other. 10% off, says Gear Grabber. And I believe Jeff suggests getting the Trucking Office Pro version. So all the other guys love it. You know, and I might change my mind later on down the road, you know. But for now, Fogline's working for me. Yeah, it depends on the plan you choose. I know James Best has said that Fogline is better for the Snyder guys. I think that I've streamlined my Fogline. Fogline, you can put so many details in there, and I've kept it kind of streamlined. I don't put every single detail in there. I just, as far as like customers and stuff like that, I don't put in my PMs. I don't put in, you know, reminders. You know, I only use half of the features on that thing. You know, because like fuel receipts, I just have them in a file. I don't load them for each load, which I might start, but it's real easy to do that. It's a couple more steps. The biggest difference besides one's monthly and one's a one-time fee is that it's easier to do it on the fly because you can do it from your phone. And everything's like, if you get the Pro, you get like a digital filing cabinet. So everything's safe in a like a cloud. Gear Grabber says, I use Truck and Office because I'm too lazy to get my laptop out for Fogline. With me, I'm lazy too, but I tend to just, at the end of the month, put them all together. But the way Jeff runs things, I might have to, well, I know, it's a little bit easier since I've been with Jeff because I'm doing less loads. But it only takes me like, I don't know, maybe like an hour to catch up a couple of weeks. You know, and that's kind of how I do it. You know, and that's why I've cut down on my live feeds, because when I get back in the truck, instead of, you know, wasting my time dealing with YouTube Live or watching some other live feeds, I could be on my laptop running my numbers. I could be on the load boards looking for loads, and concentrating on my business. You know, so that's why we're doing these weekend lives. You know, and I got to learn that when you're bored in the truck, that's when you take care of the business. Think about getting a RAM mount laptop mount installed in the passenger area. Go for it, Big Rich. I got a file cabinet and a Rolodex, says Jess Clark. In the truck? Yeah, I believe Gear Grabber says those are nice. I've had one for 15 years. My laptop, I barely use it. Like when I'm looking for loads, I'm using the apps on my phone. That's even with Schneider, I don't think I booked one load at Schneider with the laptop. It was all from the mobile website. Yeah, no passenger seat, LOL, says Jess. But yeah, it just depends on the direction. You know, I had a friend of mine that looked at both programs and he chose Fogline. And Fogline's good. Jeff still pushes that too. You know, it just depends on what you're looking for, what you need it to do. Fogline's been good for me, so I use my laptop all the time, so it makes sense for me. I use my laptop when doing loads because I'm looking at a lot of stuff to build my rates, keep track of brokers and offers. Haha. When I'm looking for loads, Big Rich, I do a little bit different. I got a pad of paper. Just a little notebook, right? It's one of those little thick notebooks. And I'll look at a load. I'll write down the phone number, just in case, I lose it on the load board. I write down the broker, and I write down the highest I'll take it for, or the higher amount I'll take it for, what I'm going to ask for, and then the lower amount. The lowest amount I'll take it. And then when I call the broker, I write down the information he tells me, the times and everything. Then I make a decision right then and there. If I don't get the load because I don't like the price, I do an X, and then I start another page. I go through a lot of paper that way, but everything's written down. Because after you call 15 brokers, you can kind of lose track. And I thought about getting a whiteboard. I've got a whiteboard. I thought about just doing it that way, but then that might save me on paper. But then I can look back and see what I've called by having the paper, because I just write an X and then go to the next page. So it's the same system I use at Landstar. I don't book the first thing that comes across my load board. I'm a little bit pickier. I want to avoid situations in certain customers, and so far there's no brokers on my do not haul list. So, in fact, I've got 3 or 4 brokers that email me on a regular basis, and one that calls me at least twice a week, seeing if I'm available. Just in the short time I've been doing this. So I have a little system, and basically sometimes I have to call the broker back once I evaluate, because I'm worried about time. Also, there was a load that I booked at one point, and then I realized I couldn't do the hours. So I called the broker back and said, you know what, those hours are too tight. We need to adjust them. Well, we can't. I'm like, oh, well, take me off of it then. And they had no problem doing that. But you don't want to do that too many times. So And the system, I'm still learning, and I got to get out of my comfort zone. I got to, but I'm trying to avoid. First of all, I'm avoiding alcohol loads. I'm avoiding mulch loads. I'm avoiding commercial metal type stuff, scrap metal, and then so we got some good questions here. Can you use a notebook and or laptop for fog line? I'm one truck, not interested in another, so I can work out doing what's best for me and then take time off. Trees are a renewable resource. LOL. You can't use a tablet, but yeah, I think you can use a notebook. I'm not sure, Benjamin, but a laptop, just get a cheap $200 laptop. What I do is I write everything down on my actual load notebook that, I write down my odometer miles, the pickup times, just like I've done with every company I've ever worked for. I write down all the information, write down when I fuel, where I fuel, and then at the end of the week, I just go by that piece of paper. The guys have been calling it the snore book because Jeff started doing that. Gear Grabber does that, and it's kind of funny. I'll call them up, and they're like, "Yep, I was looking at my snore book about that load I did yesterday," and then I just enter it later on the computer. I know that's kind of redundant, and I'm doing double the work where I can just do it all. But see, guys, computers break down. So, like, if my computer completely crashes, I've got everything on that piece of paper, and I've got all the receipts and everything in the email cloud. I don't delete any emails. So, I'm basically doing, and Trucking Office kind of condenses that and does it all at once. So, but I still like having that pen and paper because GPSs go down. Sometimes you'll go to a shipper and there's no cell phone signal. There was one time where the only thing that saved me was the CB radio because there was no cell phone signal for me to call the shipper and say, "Hey, where are you at?" Hey, Star, what would you think would be a good goal line in the trucking, industry for someone wanting to be an owner operator? It just depends. If the job's a natural to you, you can do it within, 2 or 3 years. I think it just depends on your mindset. And then when you think you're ready, do it. And then you're going to realize that you're not ready. That's the best way to describe it. You can be out here for 20 years, and then the first year as an owner operator, you're going to feel like a rookie. At least that's been my experience. So that just depends on your personal goals. Some guys do it within a year. Some guys do it after 10 years of driving. And there's just no set way to do it. I wouldn't want to do it my first 2 years. I personally would not want to be an owner operator my first 2 or 3 years of being out here. That's just a personal preference, though. Anthony asked, do I ever search back for loads? Search loads posted 1 to 2 days ago. No, because a lot of those are reposted. Anyways, Anthony, if they need to get them moved, if you see a load that keeps popping up and the next day keeps popping up, but it's the same load, you'll see that on the Schneider load board. Then you know that there's an issue with that load, or that's when your time to come in and swoop in and get the money because they can't get it moved. But you got to think there's a reason why it can't move. It might be the broker, it might be the customer, it might be the product. Chromebook, who offers that product? Archie Davenport, because we don't have. Archie asked why no liquor loads, because we don't have a lot of the liquor permits that you need for some states. So, so to avoid that, I just don't do alcohol loads. Yeah, Archie, I got a load. Leaving out Monday with it. It was a load that didn't even hit the load boards. I got it from a broker that I have a relationship with. I try to write down hub rating for mileage, but everything else goes in my phone or laptop. No worries. I back my fog line up with every single time, then upload it. Google Drive. Google Drive. That's a good idea there, Big Rich. Brand name on Chromebook. Okay. Um, Still not understand what you're saying. More or less like a first step goal. Yeah, Jess. I just there's a lot of good videos out there about put yourself in the business mindset, and that's kind of what you have to do. Driving is secondary when you're an owner operator. Um, and then it's just a case of basic math and how to make the math work for you. Truckandoffice.com, Archie keeps track of your business. This is Gear Grabber. Yeah, Truck and Office is a good program. I mean, the guys are loving it. You know, I just haven't switched because, well, actually, for the last 30 days, there's been no reason to switch because I haven't run any loads. Now, a month from now, I might change my mind, but, you know. Oh, okay, Gear Grabber. I'm sitting on a load that's got to go to Detroit, not wanting to go that way yet because of the weather. So the broker is paying me to sit on it. There you go, Archie. That's a good broker. Most of them are like, hey, have you delivered that load yet? No, there's 10 feet of snow and the road's shut down. So what, you think maybe tomorrow morning then? You know. Oh, okay, Benjamin, okay. I think I'm caught up now. I tried leasing with Trans Am, didn't really like having dispatch be in control of my money. Yeah, Jess Clark. That's my personal opinion that the best way to be an owner is to not have a dispatcher. Now, some guys do better with dispatchers, you know. If you're not picky on where you want to go and what you're hauling, and you don't want to deal with the stress of self-dispatch, because, you know, that dispatcher's not a bad thing as long as they're getting you the miles or the money that you're looking for. However, um, you know, a lot of people think that dispatching yourself it's easy, and it's not. There's a trick to it, and for those of you getting into the spot market, calling the brokers from the Schneider world, it's a different reality, guys. I mean, I know a little bit of it because it's what I'm doing now is closer to what I dealt with at Landstar. You know, by making the phone calls, develop relationships and stuff, but it's just to dispatch a truck is not the easiest thing, you know. Yeah, Anthony, I agree. I have started a good relationship with this broker. He has helped me just as much as I helped him. Yeah, sometimes you got to take a lower paying load to help that broker out. And this broker that I'm using for Monday, I've definitely already done that. So we make it look easy, haha. You see a lot of the bigger guys couldn't handle it and they went back to being a company drivers. Right. And again, it goes with your attitude and your mindset. Right, Gear Grabber's right. Just remember, dispatchers essentially run your business because they control your revenue. There you go. You have to control your revenue. That's to me, that's the only way to do it. Clyde Garland says self-dispatch can make you crazier than a one-eyed tick on a rabid dog. I like that. I like that. Wow, we're already over an hour, guys. So, you know, when you're at Schneider, all you got to do is make the loads work and the revenue work for you. When you're at Landstar or running the spot market, you have to not only pick the right loads, but then the loads have to, you know, there's a lot more elements that have to be in place, like the times of the loads, the brokers, if the load's available, that kind of thing. So that there's a lot more added stress than the way the Schneider does it and the way, like what we're doing, you know, at like. You know, Jess Clark, with Trans Am, I ran 3,300 miles and made a $400 check. Man, yeah. You don't want that, dude. I have some opinions on Trans Am, but I will keep them to myself. This was a lower paying low, but it's getting to my next low that's paying $3.18 a mile. There you go. From my point of view, the dispatcher had a gross goal for their boss, the carrier. They move the trucks regardless of miles or locations. Your personal bills or breakdown issues are not the dispatcher issue. That's true. How close do you live to the prime yard? I can get there in 5 minutes, little Viking coach. Well, 8 minutes if it's rush hour. About 10 minutes away. I noticed the rates are climbing up here in price recently. Yeah, Clyde, it's funny. I've talked to some Snyder guys recently, and they're hating it. And then I've talked to Snyder guys that are loving it. You know, Clyde, you've done well at Snyder. You're doing well at Snyder. And you know what it's like. You know, how's good paying loads out of Joplin? Joplin's a great area, man. Joplin is a great area. That's kind of the area that I'm going to pick up this load at. Have I ever thought of leasing at Prime? No. The only thing that I thought about with Prime is when I was going to CDL school, I thought about using them for my CDL school, but number one, I didn't want to do refrigerated freight, and number two, I want to be on the truck with the trainee or trainer as little as possible at that time. So, in my opinion, if you got the money, go to a CDL school that you pay for, that you're not under contract with the carrier to pay that back. A couple loads is up 200 each. Wow, that's cool. Spot market seems low in the last 2 weeks. What do you think, Rich? Gear Grabber, I'll throw in my 2 cents. From watching the Facebook pages, the rates pages, a lot of people have been saying the same thing. Watching the average lanes in my area, it's been kind of that way. But I think it's going to start going up a little bit. Alex, what's up? Yeah, brokers are fighting back a little bit. I think they were preparing for April 1st. So, but I'm reasonably happy with the rate I'm getting out of here with. So, Nashville's a good area. Yes, Archie. You know, you got to know your research. If you're on the Snyder program, know where the money is. See, I have a problem working for some companies due to the fact I never went to CDL school and they don't know how to react to that. Yeah, some carriers have you have to have a certain grade CDL school you had to go to. Big Red says national average went up 2 cents last week. Freight volume is going up. No reason it shouldn't be paying. Gear Grabber got $3 out of Georgia. There you go. I think that's why Harold is going to do really well here at Like Trucking, because if you want to go from the deep south up to the deep north, like Michigan, you're going to make money. If you want to go from the north to the south, like from Michigan to Florida, you can make money. Definitely good money doing that. A lot of the guys that run the southern area, the southern, 4 states, don't want to go up to Michigan. So if you're the guy that wants to go up to Michigan or Ohio or Pennsylvania from Florida or South Georgia, you're going to make some money because they can't find anybody else to do it. Alex Express, thank you for the $2. I appreciate that. That's not bad for Georgia, is it? Been thinking of testing the waters. Archie, where are you leased at? I don't have a dog in the fight, but it seems to be better to work for Prime directly than go through RSD. Why go through third party? I don't know, little Viking coach. That doesn't concern me. I don't know how RST works. I know they pull Prime Freight. Prime has a lot of sub companies. You got Wiltrans, or now it's Wilson. And then you have Christensen that's now pulling their freight. Who's the uh, company with the letter H? They started pulling their freight. So I think the wacky weather in certain places might be impacting some lanes. That's a good point, Anthony. That is definitely a good point. A lot a lot of guys are like, hey, I'm going to take a load to, the Northeast or, to Kansas. And then they're in a blizzard right now, So the weather plays a big factor. I don't go west of the Mississippi or east of I-81. That's good. That's a good direction, Clyde. I'm with Worldwide Carriers out of Bolton, Ontario. Okay. Loads are good from South Georgia to the north. Yeah, if you want to go like way north, like the load's going from like I don't know South Georgia to say Tennessee may not pay as good as a load that goes from Georgia to Michigan, especially this in the wintertime. You know, uh, Harold's doing a good paying load out of that area, out of South Georgia, and then uh, I think Gear Grabber is too. So so and guys, I'm not a rate expert by no means. I mean, I'm still learning the program myself. But Gear Grabber has has really helped me on figuring out what my strategy. Um, because I still needed to develop my strategies because I've only done 9 loads for Jeff so far. This month being a month down is really kind of. I'm definitely off my groove. I need to find my groove. And Rich has been helping me a lot too. Trucking with Selena just got stuck in a blizzard. No, I didn't see that. I saw the title come across, but yeah. Big Rich says, come out of the South, the most regions suck. You can bounce around the South and do okay, but not phenomenal. If you want to go places like Northeast, you can do well coming out of the South. I think when I did that load to Florida, I bounced to from Tallahassee to Alabama, and then from Alabama, I was able to go back towards the house. I appreciate that, Gear Driver. Jeff seems like a boss that cares. It's hard to find that in this industry, says Jess. Exactly. That's the beauty of working for Jeff. If I was to call Jeff tomorrow and say, dude, I'm having trouble booking my freight. Can you help me out? Or if I just said, hey, you want to dispatch me for a week? He can get me. Yeah, not at 6 a.m. He can get me some. He can get me some money. I mean, he can make it work. Jeff's got the talent, man. So, but he does care, because the more successful we are, the more successful the whole company is. So, Big Rich says, man, this stuff excites me. I'm always looking at the rates, studying the market, following trends, staying up to date on the industry. There it is. Those of you guys who are thinking about becoming an owner operator or what your goals need to be, that's what you need to you kind of have to live, eat, and breathe it. Go watch some Dave Ramsey videos, and he'll tell you the same thing. You got to live, eat, and breathe what you're wanting to do. Gary ever says it's just natural to Jeff. And that's how that becomes natural, is you live, eat, and breathe it. You know. March, I triangle, South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, grossed well. April so far, Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina. There you go. Yeah, it is worth it, Jess. You know, and I think it threw Jeff off a little bit that the first couple of weeks I didn't call him too much with a lot of questions because I wanted to try to figure some stuff out on my own. I wanted to see what works for me in my areas. And, you know, I feel that if I just have someone do it for me, I won't learn that way. So, you know, and he gave me my space. It's not like he was like chomping at the bit, calling me, "Hey, dude, what are you doing?" I'm just like, I think there was one phone conversation, excuse me, that we had where he was like, "You doing all right?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Are you sure?" "Yeah." He's like, "Okay." if you need any help, let me know. I'm like, "All right." Yep, Jeff wakes up at 3 a.m. and we'll look at low boards. I'm not that enthusiastic, says Gear Driver. Jeffrey told me, says Anthony, if and when I get my own truck, call him up and he can tell me how to kill it without leaving Texas, Oklahoma. South Carolina is a great state to come out of, Archie, especially in the Greenville, Spartanburg market. Yeah, Gear Driver, I'm not that diehard either. You know, it's like you give Jeff an area, he can run it and make money. You know, it's like if you tell him, "Hey Jeff, I'm trying to figure out how to deal with Texas and Oklahoma," he'll study those load boards and then tell you, "Okay, this is what you need to do. You can look at this, this, and this, and then run this, and then strategize this." You know, you'll have less fuel if you do this, that kind of thing. And that's basically what it is. It goes back to surround yourself with good people. Yep. I've had the problem with dispatchers and bosses trying to make me take loads when I was tired or illegal. I don't think Jeff has done that. And Jeff has that bone in his body. No, the thing with like trucking guys is I'm in total control of my business. You know, that's it. I mean, it's find a company that allows you to be total control of your business. You know, Jeff's not worried about my revenue. There's no minimum amount of miles. There's no. He doesn't want you to run illegal. You know, he wants you to run smart. And if you're having trouble with that, then he'll help you. And you know, it's kind of scary a little bit how much is in my court. You know, Jeff's extremely supportive, but at the same time, I've got to step up my game, you know. Yeah, if you run illegal, you get a call from Gear Driver. You know. And that's why I'm a little bit selective about time. I'm like the load I'm doing Monday is first come first serve on both ends. And that's hard to find in the spot market, it seems like. To me anyways, in the dry van. So that's the best way to be, because then I'm not too worried about the times on everything. You know, you're not in a situation that will make the company look bad if I'm late. You know, um, but you know, here at Like, we're in total control. Okay, here we go. Scott Caitlin got a long-standing question. How do I see a low board before being under the gun for a payment? Hola, Snow Alert, nice channel. Um, I think that you have to have your own. You have to have your own number for like Uber and Convoy. 123 low board's got a trial, 10-day trial, and then just find a friend that will help you with the other low boards. You know, that's the best way to do it. Big Rich says fueling is decent, but I'm having problems with that because the carrier I'm leased to just doesn't understand technology, so I don't have access to NASDAQ fuel app to see discount prices. Scott, like I said, 123 low board's got a trial run. I think that Chad Boblet runs a trial run on the DAP board sometimes on the rate per mile masters page. So, and then I know that you know the thing about that is most brokers don't put the rates up there. You know, the good things that you see with 123 low board and the DAP board is the average of what the average is paying. So it gives you a general idea of what to ask for. But then there's a lot of guys that will sit there and say, "Oh, the average is not even close to what you should be doing the run for." But what you can see is the trends of what's running in the area. If one lane's showing about $2 a mile, look at another lane that's paying $3 a mile on the average. You know, that's where you want to go. Quit driving in '96. How much has things changed in the last few years? Um, it's a completely different world here, AG. Trucker Path has a free load board, but it's not great. And one of the things you have to, says Gear Grabber, one of the things you have to look out for the Trucker Path or other free load boards is that those are the guys, a lot of the brokers on those low boards are guys that have been kicked off the other ones for bad business practices or bad credit ratings. So you have to be careful of that. I don't know much, but I at least know that. There you go. Bigger says he usually takes 15-day and then add minimum of 10%. Yeah. When it comes to trucking, you get what you pay for. Um, you know, and like if I was a brand new authority or brand new to the spot market and knew nothing about dispatch, knew nothing about rates, knew nothing about load planning, knew nothing about how to calculate tolls or anything like that, the 123 load board is awesome for guys like that because it lays everything out. It'll calculate your estimated fuel, your tolls, your gross, your net based off the numbers that are the averages. So you're not going into it blindly. And that is one of the best tools. Are the changes for the better? It depends on how you look at it. Trucker Path rarely has load info. Usually only shows pickup and delivery and weight. That's what 90% of them do. I don't know anything about Trucker's Edge. The rates claim that The rates they claim on 123 are garbage. Serious dookie. Well, Big Rich, it gives you an idea of the trends. I've always been able to get above what the 123 low board's saying. But you got to remember there's a lot of people taking cheap freight that keeps those averages down. So there you go. Big Rich just answered about Trucker's Edge. The only ones that really show the customers the exact times is Uber. Does ELD make it safer for the driver? No. Makes them honest. It has nothing to do with safety. It's about compliance. ELDs are about compliance, not safety, guys. I've not done an Uber yet. I haven't done an Uber load yet. There was an Uber load that picked up in Rogers, Arkansas, and it delivered just 20 miles away to Bentonville for like $500. So to sit there and say Uber's got nothing but cheap freight, that's not true at all. There's a lot of good Uber loads. Depends on the area you live at. You know, there's not a whole lot of Uber freight in my area, but Texas and Ohio seems to be the number one states that has a lot of Uber. Yep, Gear Driver says I made good money with Uber. We're not going to get an ELD discussion. That's been done to death. But that's the bottom line is ELDs are about compliance, not safety. So, all right, guys, we're at an hour and a half, so we're going to end this video. Thank you for watching. And, I appreciate all the well wishes. And, surround yourself with good people. And don't be afraid to fall down so you get back up. So guys, take it easy. And Alex, thanks for the super chat. We'll talk to you guys later.